Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Today we continue for the final 3 World Touring Car 800 races. The last one is quite a bit longer, which is why I was considering doing it in a separate video, but I've decided to chuck them all into this one, and if this video ends up a little on the longer side, so be it. But anyway, we get going for the first of today's 3 races, and we're at Watkins Glen for this one. So let's see how things go. We've already made one position up on the Porsche. Now we've got the Ford in front of us, and we'll sneak through on the inside there. He very kindly left the inside line open. We're able to get straight on through and move ourselves up into P18. So a good start to the race. A little bit deep into the bus stop, but not too bad. We get through there, we survive, and now we get into this long right-hander. And very easy here to keep going to the right onto what is the NASCAR layout of the circuit, the one I'm much more familiar with than this layout. So it took me a few laps to get used to this sort of outer section again, because I don't really do this layout all too often, except for when it comes up in these types of events. But anyway, you'll also notice we've moved ourselves down into fuel map 6 already. We want to extend the stints as long as possible and minimize that stop time in the pits. So that is the plan there, and it doesn't really it does slow us down, of course, but we're still fast enough to make our way through the field. That left-hander is quite awkward, so we lost a bit of time there. So we need to try and get our act together. That's a nice move around the outside, and that's put us up into P16 so far, at the end of the first lap. So not a bad start to the race at all, and we'll be able to continue on and keep pushing. Unfortunately, we've given ourselves a penalty there through the first few corners, but now on the straight, this is where we can really gain some good time with the straight line speed of our car. Even in map 6, it's just ridiculous how much faster we can go along that straight. But we've made a few spots there, and we've just touched the grass on entry to this long right-hander, but we get away with it, and we're up into P14. So we've made a few more spots. We might be able to make one more in just a moment. We do have a penalty to serve though, but it's only half a second. That won't barely slow us down at all in this next section. The penalty line is just on this straight, so thankfully being on a straight section, as they are 99% of the time, it doesn't cost us too much because we have that straight line speed advantage anyway, so we don't really need to worry about being re-overtaken if the penalty is only half a second or a second. Anyway, we were all sent scrambling there, as none of us were taking the racing line, but we managed to snag a few positions there and move ourselves up into P11 so far. So again, making good progress, and we have more cars in close proximity. Unfortunately, once again, we have a penalty here, but we're still going to try and make this move down the inside, and we go a little bit deep, but we still managed to make the move, and we should still be able to serve this penalty without being re-overtaken. So with that done, we continue to push on. We're into the top 10 now, and we are going to try and make this move into the penultimate corner down the inside, and that's a job done up into P9. So yeah, we are really coming through the field steadily, as some drivers are ahead of us entering pit lane. So pit stop starting already only at the end of lap 3, so potentially some people doing 2-stop strategies in this race, or they're doing an almightily long final stint, but either way, that's an early stop for anyone. But anyway, we'll see how it goes as we continue to make our way forwards, and we cut them off a little bit awkwardly there, I'll admit. But we move on, We've got a GTR in front of us now, so let's see if we can make the move all the way around the outside of the final corner, trying to carry the speed there, but ultimately we just about run out of space, and we decided to not fight that one. We'll go to the inside of turn 1 and make a much easier move there down the inside, and that is us now up and into 4th position. So we're getting close to the podium here in this one. Still 3 cars to go. The Viper leading the way, showing again how fast that car can be. So yeah, we're doing alright at the moment. We move on, and that's a personal best lap of the race. We're still yet to go purple, but we are closing the gap to the cars in front all the same. That is a move done on the Supra. We're up into 3rd position now. We've got an Aston Martin up next, so let's see if we can make this move. I think we'll be able to get this done in a straight line in the slipstream a little bit, then we'll duck out, make the move, and that is us up into 2nd position. Purple to that sector, so it's interesting. It will be interesting to see where we are gaining and losing time. We've had a fairly clean lap so far in terms of traffic, so it will be a good indication as we continue to push on. And the race leader now into pit lane, the Viper, making their first and probably final stop. We don't end up improving on our previous lap time on that one, so we lost time later in the lap on that occasion. But anyway, we're into the race lead now as we push on for that one extra lap. We'll now come into the pit lane. A very late call there, so I realised we were running out of fuel. There's only going to be a 3-lap stint at the end, so potentially we pushed that one a little bit long. But regardless, we didn't put much fuel in. We didn't need much, but I think we short fueled even on what we theoretically needed to get to the end. But hopefully we'll be able to get away with it as we slowly make our way out of pit lane, and we'll see where we re-emerge back onto the circuit. We do of course have a penalty to serve. We've given ourselves another one for that late call into pit lane, and then I think we cut the line on pit exit as well, so bit of a clumsy run through pit lane in this race, but we re-emerge in 3rd position, so not looking too bad at the moment. But with 3 laps to go, we do need to get a move on to try and undo this 6-second penalty that we have to serve still. And we're getting a lot more confident through the chicane there, but what actually tends to happen now is I come out of the chicane with so much speed, I don't really know what to do with myself when we get to the long right-hander. But anyway, we'll make the big move down the inside into this long left-hander, and we're up into 2nd position. We'll lose it almost immediately though, because we have that penalty to serve. We're not going to get 6 seconds out in front of them in that time, so yeah, we'll have to serve this penalty and do all the work again. And I was trying to get them to give me a little boost. They were having none of it though. They just drove straight past, so yeah, that's didn't help. And now we are running wide as we misjudged the speed completely into the right-hander there. So we continue to push on then, and apparently they still needed to make another stop, did the M3, and I mean that makes sense. They weren't really amongst the fight at the front earlier on. It was the Supra and the Aston Martin that were up here with us. So that elevates us up another position into 2nd, and now as we move on to the beginning of the final lap, we can see the Viper for the first time. So it's taken a long time, all 10 laps of the race, to get to this point, but we're actually going to be able to make this move pretty easily. I think they make a big fight of it though, pushing us up onto the inside curb as we try to sneak our way on the inside of the left-hander there, but we make the move stick up into 1st place, and that is job done. Now all we need to do is bring it home as we absolutely make a big mess of the chicane. That's the worst I've done in all race, so I've learned absolutely nothing about this track in the time racing on it today. but it doesn't matter. We come around the final corner, we're in the race lead, and we're going to take a race victory here at Watkins Glen. That is the first race done of the day, and I haven't really mentioned it specifically, but I've been doing all of these World Touring Car 800 races in order of the prize money. So for these ones we're doing today, we get quite a lot. That was 200,000 credits for that race, which is very, very nice. We now head off to the other side of the world. We're in Italy now at Sardinia Road Course A. So yeah, let's see how this one goes. We have a very long main straight here as we head into the first corner. A little bit of a bump, but it's all good. We continue to push on. A lot of windmills around this track. It's kind of funny because the off-road track is called Sardinia Windmills, but there's also windmills around the road circuit, so it's a little bit of a strange one. Anyway, I really do not know this circuit at all. I've gone back to the easy difficulty for this race simply because I do not know this track at all. I'm just learning it as we go. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit more of an adventurous one for the first few laps. And you'll also notice this one is actually a 15-lap race, much longer. So we have that as well as we close in to the group ahead, and we'll see if we can get the power down and make the move to the well, I'm not sure if we call that the inside or the outside. This road switches back left and right quite a few times, but anyway, we made a couple of spots out into the wall there, and that thankfully hasn't affected our exit too badly. We're up into P15 now, and we've got more battles playing out in front of us as we try and carry some amount of speed, missing the apex completely there through that hairpin. But anyway, we're up into P14 now with a good run along the straight, and let's see now if we can... Oh, a bit of contact there at a very awkward moment, but that is a lap of Sardinia as we've made our way up into P13. So despite not knowing the circuit, we are making pretty good progress. There was not a car width between those two cars, but we made one exist, and we've gone a bit wide now into the gravel. That's going to cost us a whole bunch of places, and we're now back down into 15th position. So not a great little moment there as we get back past the Ferrari, move us up into P14, and we need to do all the work again as we try and settle ourselves down. This right-hander is so awkward. It seems to just come up out of nowhere, and yeah, as you saw both on the first lap and the second lap, made a bit of a mess of that one. But anyway, we will eventually be able to learn that. And once I did actually get up to speed with this circuit, I actually did really enjoy it. It's got a nice flow to it, and it's a very enjoyable track to you know, try and get more and more out of in terms of the lap time, etc. But yeah, to learn it to begin with was a little bit tricky. But anyway, we're continuing to make the moves through the field. We're up into P12 now, so you know, just chipping away at it at the moment as we make the move down the inside. That's job done, and up into P11 now, and that is good progress for this lap given how it started. We've still got a couple more cars in front of us we can overtake potentially before the lap is over, as we put the power down, and here it comes. Straight past those two and up into the top 10, into 9th position now. So yeah, we're making steady progress, so let's try our best to keep this going. We move on forwards through the race, and we catch up to a trio of cars here as we take a little peek down the inside. That's one move done. Power down on the exit. That's two moves done, and we should be able to get this third one in the not too distant future as we're looking to the inside, and that's job done. One more position. Oh, we've forced them into the wall there. Wasn't quite room for two and at that part of the circuit, and now they're fighting back down the inside as we've been pushed wide out onto the grass. We'll lose another position here, and we also are re-overtaken by the BMW, so that's unfortunate. We'll get back past them though, no issue. Then we go for the big lunge, almost back down the inside of the Audi, couldn't quite get there, but that was close, and we just had to jump out of that one at the last minute. Now we go for the big lunge, and okay, now I'm just clearly getting a bit desperate there, and yeah, that wasn't going to work. Way too late on the brakes, and yeah, we lose out there into 7th position once again for us. So actually strange we didn't get re-overtaken by more cars in that one. We lost a lot of time on the exit, but anyway, we were able to retain 7th position as we once again focus on the 2 ahead. We're a long way behind, but with the straight line speed and some late braking, we go for the big lunge down the inside, and we will push and shove our way through there on the apex. That was probably borderline, but I think fair enough, as we now we'll also get past the Supra, and that puts us up into the top 5. So again, just need to minimize these mistakes. There's another one, and there goes those 2 places again. So it's that same corner, that same right-hander near the start of the lap that's been catching us out. The first few need to figure out that corner, and yeah, not make that mistake every lap, because you can see it's costing us significantly. But anyway, we will see if we can re-overtake the Supra now. We already got back past the Audi, and with a straight line speed building here, hopefully it won't be too long before we're able to make this move, trying to carry the speed through here. It's a little bit awkward. It's awkwardly sharp, that corner, I would describe it as. It's not quite open enough to just flow the car through, and oh, that was definitely awkward, that contact, but we managed to get away with it, make our way through. But yeah, that was not great. But anyway, we continue pushing on, and pit stops begin to be made. We're going to push on for a bit longer. Ideally, I think we want to try and make it 5 laps into this race, which if we don't run out of fuel on this lap, we will have been able to achieve, and that will make it a 2-stop race. If you're stopping on lap 4, that makes it a 3-stop. I guess if you can stretch it to lap 8, that would make it a 1-stop. But yeah, I don't know what the fuel economy is going to be like, which one of those options will be possible for us. But anyway, we'll see how it goes as we continue to try and chase down the cars in front. We've got a GTR in front of us now, and at this point I am starting to get into the rhythm of this circuit, and starting to push more and more, and starting to make less mistakes, with the exception of that one corner that I always bring up. But anyway, it eventually comes time for us to come into the pit lane. Everyone else in front of us is as well, so someone can do more than 2 laps, more than 5 laps, 2 stops, is what I'm trying to say there. But anyway, yeah, we didn't have the fuel to push on for more, and we might as well be splitting the race evenly into 5-lap stints. That just makes sense. So we'll fill up to the top, and yeah, we'll push on into the next stint. I completely missed the white line on pit exit there. Thankfully, there's no line cutting rules for the like the outside of the pit exit line there, which is good. Otherwise, we would have got a big penalty there. But yeah, didn't see how we re-emerged back onto the circuit there. That actually seems quite dangerous to turn so sharply back onto the circuit straight out of pit lane. But anyway, that's just how it is. It would make sense to kind of run parallel and sort of build up the speed a bit more first. But anyway, that's how it is on this circuit as we make our way past the Mazda RX Vision. Mazda RX Vision makes its way back past us though, as we went way too deep. So there's still a bit of that. The sort of craft of overtaking on this circuit is a little bit tricky at this point still. But anyway, we hopefully we should be able to just do most of them with the straight line speed as we try and force our way down the inside. That got a bit awkward as we had cars on either side of us. But anyway, we made our way through, and we're now up into 8th position. Doesn't quite represent where we are, given pit stops, etc. So we really only know once we make our second stop, I think, where everyone stands. But at the moment we are flying on through the field up into P4 now. So things going well so far, and with more stops being made, more overtakes being made, we are edging ourselves closer to the top. We've got the Toyota Supra in front of us now, and we don't quite make that move down the inside, and we take a bit of the grass there instead. Now we'll make the move surely here with the power down on the exit. That's job done, up into third place. Now we go for the big lunge down the inside, and nice move there up into second position ahead of the Mercedes-Benz. And now we have old mate Viper in front of us, but he enters pit lane, and we will move on into the race lead. Only on lap 8 is the Viper pitting, so I'm guessing that must be his second stop at this point. I don't know. Given that we can do 5, maybe that Viper can only do 4. That's kind of crazy. I doubt it can do 8. So they might be in trouble and need to make one more stop in this race. But anyway, we are in pits now, getting a new set of tyres and a nice refill of fuel, and this will get us to the end of the race, actually filling up basically at the top there. So I don't know what that was about. Again, we completely missed the pit exit line there, and actually took a bit of the grass there. I was clearly not paying attention. But anyway, we actually come out of pit lane in the race lead, which surprised me, to be honest. But that's how things have worked out. So so long as we can get through the rest of the race with no mistakes, that should be race victory for us. We move on to the final lap, and yeah, that was really all there was to it. We come now towards the finish line, lap car ahead. Not going to worry us though. We cross the line to take a race victory here at Sardinia, and that is a job done in the second of 3 races. And the thing about this race, I mentioned we're doing things in order of prize money, and for this one we get a whopping 727,500 credits for prize money. For what? For a race that's not that much longer than the other ones, but yeah, it was a huge increase in prize money, so that's really awesome. And yeah, for a race that's less than half an hour, that's a lot of money. But anyway, on to the final race, which will be done in live commentary. And for this final race, we are going to have a change of car for the first time amongst these World Touring Car 800 races. The matter of fact is that this final race is a 1-hour race at Spa, and I've actually done it many times before in the Supra and other cars, and I feel like trying something different today. So this car is the BMW VGT, and I haven't driven a lot of the VGT cars in Gran Turismo 7, so I thought this is a good opportunity to try this one out, and yeah, just see how it goes. I'm not sure if it's going to be winnable in this car. So let's have a little look at this car then, and see what we have to work with in terms of stats. It's 732 pp once we equip the racing soft tyres. We've got 541 horsepower from a 3-litre engine, and the car weighs just 1,180 kilograms, which is very light, and also has a perfect 50-50 weight distribution, which is awesome. Its overall speed isn't quite as good as a Supra, and it uses more fuel, so the Supra is just a better car all around in that way, but this should be still good enough. In the past I have won this race on the hardest difficulty with this Supra, but I don't think that's going to be possible in this car, so let's see. I think I'll probably set it to normal. You can see the prize pool for this race, 1 million credits if we can take the victory. And for a 1-hour race, that's pretty good. And especially if we get the clean race bonus as well, which is very easy in this race. You'll see what I mean at the end, hopefully. But yeah, that should be almost a guaranteed 1.5 million credits every time. It's very rare I miss out on the clean race bonus. The only way you can really is if you disobey yellow flags, which can come out during this race. So here we go then. Away we go for the World Touring Car 800 race at Spa, and we'll race our way up the hill for the first time. And let's see how this BMW VGT goes. A little quirk of this car and a couple of the other VGTs, it actually has no interior. It's only got 3 camera options, so I don't generally use the interior camera anyway, but it is just something to note about this car. But anyway, we are fairly, on this difficulty level, evenly matched with the other cars around us as we make our way past the Porsche. So I'm hoping this can be a good race. I have tried this car on the lowest difficulty, and it is a relatively easy race to win, mostly just because this car is so good. Like in terms of handling wise, it is just very, very smooth and fairly predictable. I did have a bit of a snap there, but talking and driving does make things a little bit more difficult. Obviously making much slower progress this time, and unlike what I would do with the Supra, I'm actually leaving this car in fuel map 1 for what will probably be most of the race. It depends how the weather plays out in this one. Weather plays a huge factor in this race, more so than tyre wear and fuel. So it is very important to keep an eye on the weather radar, which is why I've immediately selected that in the bottom right. But yeah, we should be aware of that as we continue to progress through the race. We've got a great exit out of Stavolo. We actually made a bit of contact with the back of the board there, but no harm done. It was relatively light, and we're able to push on as we now set our sights on the next car. But we've only overtaken 3 cars so far in this race. Normally, if I was driving the Supra on the easy difficulty, just on the money grind in this race, I would have done that in the first couple of seconds of the race. So it does show the difference between the cars, and that would be in map 6 as well, in the Supra. But anyway, like I said, this car is much lower PP as we go full send down the inside. This car is amazing on the brakes as well. You can see how much later we could brake there. That was awesome. So yeah, this car does have a lot going for it. Maybe it's probably a better car at 700 pp than 800, but it can hold its own in this race against the AI very well. So it's not a bad choice for this race. So here we go then in the slipstream, and let's see if we can make a move to the inside. We've got a whole cluster of cars here, so let's try and brake late. And we've been forced up on the inside curb there. We're gonna try and switch this back. They're all over the place, and we do manage to get through the middle. The Corvette all the way back around the outside, and Corvette will hold on to that position. But we did a pretty good job there of capitalizing on everyone else being all over the place through Les Combes, and now we need to focus on the Corvette yet again. You can see with a bit of a bad exit there, we are struggling to keep up with the Corvette in a straight line, and that's probably this car's sort of downfall. Once the AI decide to get a move on and turn up their fuel maps and things, it struggles a little bit to keep up. I'm still in fuel map 1, not saving any fuel at the moment, so yeah, I'm driving basically as fast as this car can go. But we are slowly gaining through this sequence of corners now that the Corvette's caught up to the back of the train. So yeah, they do have higher potential to go faster, but we should be able to be fast enough to stay competitive with the leaders, assuming strategy goes our way as well. And that's a big advantage we can have if we are alert to the weather. At the moment, no weather on the horizon. Usually it takes a few laps before any sort of weather materializes, but when we get to lap 5, 6, 7, that's when we'll start really putting some more attention on the radar, and we'll see what kind of weather we get for this race. It is entirely possible that there is no weather, or I shouldn't say there's no weather, but there is no rain throughout the course of the race. That is quite rare for that to happen, but it can happen. So if that is the case, this car may actually struggle in terms of fuel mileage to get to the end on 2 pit stops, which is the ideal strategy. But we'll see how it goes as we have a little battle going on in front of us. 3 into 1 trying to go, and looks like they're going to be able to hold on to it. Oh, hello. There's actually 4 into 1 trying to get into Lecom there, and we're going to see if we can grab a couple of these spots. There's going to be more cars keep appearing. There's like 5 cars here now, and the Viper out in front at the moment of this little battle pack, and we'll see if we can get a nice little switchback here, and this should be an easy move down the inside. We're getting pinched a lot here, so we're actually going to back out of that one and try again another day. And actually we've got a decent run around the outside, and that'll be job done, and we move ourselves up another position. So having to pick and choose our way past a little bit more than what I would traditionally have to do if I was driving the Toyota Supra. But I actually find this a really enjoyable car to drive, this BMW VGT. It's just, like I said, very, very smooth. So this might be my new favorite car for this event, after completing this event in the Supra more times than I could possibly count. I've earned millions upon millions of dollars and bought so many cars after money grinding in that car in this event. But yeah, this BMW is definitely a good choice as well. Anyway, we continue to wind our way through the final corners. Set a personal best lap of the race at 2 minutes 22. That's probably actually one of the faster laps I've done in this car. In optimal conditions for the Supra, I can do a 2 minutes 17 rather. So yeah, it's definitely a faster option, but this one is, it's fast enough that at least on this difficulty I think we should be able to do it. The fact we didn't set a purple lap though is a little bit concerning, so we will need to still find a little bit more time to match it with the very fastest cars on track at the moment. Still no weather to speak of on the radar. The run through here along through Blanchimont is a good time to check that. Flat out through there just about. I did lift very slightly, but if I got my line a bit better, there would definitely be no lifting. That lap was a 22.5, so it seems to kind of be the ceiling of what I can do in this car. 22s. A perfect lap would probably get into the 21s. There is actually, in the bottom right, if I flick over, a thing here that can tell me my optimal time. However, because the first sector on lap 1 is shortened, you start like around the first corner, because it's the endurance layout of Spa. That's literally the only difference, is where the start line is. It doesn't affect where the finish line is, strangely enough. But because of that, your first sector on lap 1 is always going to be stupidly fast. So it's weird. It won't take anyone's first lap as the fastest lap of the race, but it will take that first sector when calculating your optimal on this display. So it's a bit of a weird one. I should stop going off the road there, that's not helping. Alrighty, so now you can see on the weather radar there is some rain approaching from the north, slightly northeast, presumably given the angle of that cloud. Usually they kind of roll in a straight line like that, but not always. But the big rain you really have to worry about. It won't get here on this lap. I mean, as in we do have time for another lap. So we will do that, and I would say at the end of this lap would be just about the perfect time to come in. As you can see now though, the weather is getting very close, so we will need to come in definitely on this lap, and this is what I was thinking about strategy playing a key role in this race. Everyone else has gone on another lap. They're not smart enough to see the rain coming, which works well for me. I've just clipped the inside wall there. Apparently I'm not all that smart sometimes, but anyway, we're going to go into the intermediate tyres, and I'd say by the time we exit pit lane, it'll be raining. Into the box we come then, and we of course will get that set of intermediate tyres on the car, and a refill of course, to make sure we can get to the end. Oh, obviously we won't be getting to the end from here, just to the next pit stop, which will be after the rain stops and the track dries out again. Sometimes it is worth pushing on the intermediate tyres on a dry track just to get an extra few laps out of it. It may allow you to do one less stop later in the race, so that's something we will need to watch out for as well. But we immediately lost the rear end a bit because they're coming out of pit lane, but we're all good now. Put the windscreen wiper on. We've already got the headlights on because it is very, very dark at the moment. But yeah, now we just need to push on. And here is what I would call the fun part of the race. It's not guaranteed, but quite often you can watch the AI really struggling in these conditions. Look how slow they're going through these corners, and we are just going to round up a lot of them all the way up to Rivage, and there's a host of places made already. This is why strategy is so important, because oh, we've got a yellow flag out. There's a car off the road on the left side. They've lost it completely, and thankfully the yellow flag's gone. We are able to keep making our way through the field. If you do get caught up behind a car on slicks under yellow flag conditions, that can really have a negative impact on your race, as you can probably imagine. But you can't overtake them, otherwise you'll be facing a penalty for that, and you will lose the clean race bonus if you get a yellow flag penalty. So anyway, it is absolutely bucketing down with rain. The top few drivers have made their way into pit lane. The rain is showing no signs of stopping, so I think we have nailed the timing of this pit stop, and the track is going to be wet for quite a long time. Once the cars do get driving around it on the intermediate tyres, it will dry slightly in the periods between, like the breaks between the heaviest of the rain. So hopefully that could work for us, because with this amount of rain, this is the kind of rain where full wet tyres would be rather useful, to be honest. I will say that, and I thought that when I saw the rain coming, that looks like full wet conditions kind of rain. But you can see that right now I'm on the intermediate tyres, and they are handling it just fine. So it's not a huge concern, as we have a bit of a slide there. But anyway, we are now into the race lead. We have a bit of a margin as well, as everyone else had to navigate that lap on the slick tyres. So now all we need to do is just keep pushing on and make no mistakes, and we should be able to bring this one home. But there's still plenty left to play out. I also should say, I don't usually play Gran Turismo 7 with my headphones on. Of course I'm doing it now so I can make the live commentary, but normally when I'm just playing the game I don't have my headphones on. But the difference in sound and how much better it sounds compared to the TV speakers is amazing. The speakers on this TV aren't necessarily bad, but they don't compare to headphones, I'll tell you that. One good thing about the intermediate tyres though, compared to the softs, is when it is raining and you're on the intermediates, they do not wear out at all whatsoever. They are still brand new. So we currently have a 23-second lead in this race. I haven't actually really looked at that up until now, so it'll be interesting to see how that changes. This rain is just still not showing any signs of stopping on the radar. It just keeps coming. Hoping we can actually complete this stint on this fuel load. I've never had a situation where it's rained for so long that I need to refuel and put more intermediate tires on, usually you can go long enough until the track's dry again, but this rain seems very persistent, and it shows no signs of stopping on the radar. So I mentioned the lead we had earlier, and it's hardly changed. We've gained just over a second in that time. So yeah, it's we have very similar pace to everyone else. It's unusual actually that I'm faster in the rain comparatively to in the dry versus the other cars. Usually, whoa. Okay, let's straighten this out. Usually in the Supra, I tend to struggle a bit more in the rain, but that could be down to the car. This car seems to handle the rain just fine though. Finally, you can see on the radar now, the rain will be coming to an end very soon. We won't be anywhere near dry conditions, but it is something. I'm into exit now. Interestingly, now that the heavy rain has been coming down again, I've actually lost a bit of time to the cars behind, so I do tend to struggle more in the heavier rain, it seems. They could be on the full wet tyres. I have no way of knowing at the moment. It's around this time now that the rain has stopped, that we need to start thinking about our strategy from here to the end of the race. We are getting closer to the kind of time where we can pit and make it to the end. Ooh. So this car can comfortably do 8 laps on a tank of fuel, even in the maximum fuel map. So we basically can't stop until the timer is at less than or close to or less than 20 minutes. To put it simply, with Supra, my marker kind of time is 25 minutes. Of course, we don't use as much fuel on a wet track, so that does help us extend our current stint. But I do need to pay attention to how much fuel we have left at this time. And it does seem like we have enough fuel to get there. It'll be a bit close, but we should be fine. Oh, the curbs are so wet, they're going to take forever to dry. So we actually only have a pit window of 1 lap, so I really hope the track's dry by then, because we don't have many other options. That is the downside of this car. As I mentioned, it does use a lot more fuel than the Supra to achieve, anything close to the same lap speed. But with that said, it still can do enough laps to make things work in this race. You can see the car on the left there dropping down the order. They've entered pit lane. They came from 2nd or 3rd position, and now they are making a pit stop. They were on the intermediate tyres by the look of things, but they can probably get to the end of the race now, and we're going to try to do the same once we make our stop in a moment's time. Oh, look at that. There's more rain coming. Can we push on 1 more lap? Alright. I'm going to go into minimum fuel mix, and we're going to see if we can stretch this 1 more lap. We should be able to do it. 0.5 laps. We're not going to do it. That's not a chance. But I will be putting more intermediate tyres on, because with that rain coming, I think that is... Oh, I've crossed the line there. I was too busy looking, trying to switch the radar back over. Or switch back over to the radar, rather. But yeah, back onto the intermediate tyres, because before we even complete this next lap, it's going to be raining again. So, weird conditions here. It dried out for just long enough for me to think we'll get onto the dry tyres, and it's going to be raining again. Second place is also in pit lane at the same time as us, but we will get all the tyres changed. We'll go for a full load of fuel. They're only 18 seconds behind us now, so they have closed that gap as we made a bit of a mess in the pit entry. May have had something to do with that. And we may have a bigger refuel than them, it's hard to say. But that could also close the gap up after the pit stop. It says they're in front of us, but that's not true. It just takes until we exit pit lane for that to update. Now you can see though that we have a penalty for crossing the pit entry line. So that was just a bit of a whoopsie on my part, but it shouldn't affect us too badly. Right now my biggest concern is the rain that's coming, and it will come very soon, so hopefully we won't have to do too many corners on intermediate tyres on a dry track. I'm actually, as you can see, driving quite slowly through these corners just to reduce the strain on the tyres. Goodness me, the rain has sort of missed us to begin with, at least. I mean, there would be no point pitting for a set of slicks for one lap, but we just about could have done that if we wanted to. Maybe two if we pit a bit earlier, but again, it wouldn't have been worth the time overall. This is still going to be the fastest way to get to the end of the race. Anyway, now that the rain is coming down yet again during the day, you know, we have no more concerns in regards to tyres. We're fueled up to the end, so really we just need to keep pushing on. And the only thing we should be worried about is if the track dries, we'll need to switch back to slick tyres, potentially if it dries a long time before the end of the race. If not, we'll just push on. But yeah, for now, we just race on and try to make no mistakes. Okay, so this rain has almost come to an end now. We're very close to being back into clear weather conditions, and this is probably the fourth to last lap of the race. Depends how fast we are, but yeah, it's probably again kind of situation where it's not worth the switch to slick tyres with, you know, what will only be 3 laps to go at the end potentially, especially if we make a pit stop. Okay, again, pit stops are being made. Interesting. We've only got a 14-second lead, so we don't have a lot of time to mess around in this race, despite the fact that I haven't seen another car for quite a while at this point. We're not all that far ahead, so we need to make sure we make no mistakes. Alrighty then, on to what is most likely going to be the final lap. I think we're going to be a few seconds shy of starting the next one, and I think we've basically got this race won at the moment. The track is well and truly ready for the dry tyres, but you know, there's no point. Oh, and second place is heading into pit lane, so I guess they're heading off the dries, but yeah, there's no need. This close to the end of the race, the Inters will do the job and get us to the finish line. Otherwise, it would have been a pretty close result in the end. Like I said, they were just 14 seconds behind us a while ago, but they'll drop off. Oh, they'll drop off significantly now. Well, okay. Into the final couple of corners, then the bus stop for the last time, and this is going to be a race victory and 1.5 million credits in the bank across the line. First place. Oh wow, we only missed out on the next lap by 1.5 seconds. I mean, to be honest, if I did get there earlier, I probably would have just pulled up and waited, because we had to get back to second place, 48 seconds behind, with many of the others making late pit stops, which I guess sort of ruined their strategy. Otherwise, they could have been within about 15 seconds or so. Anyway, there's the trophy. We do get the clean race bonus, and now we're rich. Alrighty, let's check out this roulette ticket then, see what we get. 4 stars, give me something good. There's not actually that much good on the table, to be honest. Yep, that'll do. Yeah, basically as long as we didn't get that ticket, I guess that was alright. Anyway, that is going to do it for this one. So I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It's always very helpful. Other than that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.